Fletcher, Fischer, Pollack here in downtown St. Pete. I've been a paralegal for 37 years. And in addition to that, for the past 10 years, I've been a volunteer with the U.S. Coast Guard and United States Southern Command as a member of their emergency management team. Currently serve as a member of the City of St. Pete Program for Public Information and Pinellas County Local Mitigation Strategy Working Group. I'm a member of the Lealman CERT, which is the Community Emergency Response Team, and U.S. Coast Guard Agency Representative to the Emergency Operations Center. I am an instructor with FEMA and a continuity of operations practitioner. And I just recently got named as emergency manager for Fletcher, Fischer, Pollack, and Rising Tide. So that's a great honor. So hurricanes. Why isn't this thing? There we go. So hurricane season is going to start June 1st. We're 4 days away from that date, and we already have gone through 2 named storms. Pretty much everyone in the weather industry, NOAA, and several other agencies have already said that this is going to be a very active year with named storms. They're looking at a possible 18 named storms, 9 of them being hurricanes, and that is higher than the seasonal average of 10 named storms. 4 of the hurricanes are being forecasted to be major hurricanes, which means it's a Category 3 or above with sustained winds of over 175 miles per hour. So Arthur went through North Carolina about 2 weeks ago, and Bertha right now is in the South Carolina coast. So as you can see, we've already started with the storms, although they're only tropical storms turn into a Cat 5 very quickly and the other way around. Business go kits. When you're preparing for hurricanes, a couple of things. First of all, know your zone. And this is an evacuation guide from Pinellas County. Once you register with their program, you will know what your zone is, and you'll know if you're in evacuation zone or not. You want to make sure your evacuation zones for home and office, because they may be different. I am on a non-evacuation at work, but I'm in zone E for my home. So it's always good to know what your zones are. And because we're going to have such an active season, you want to be ready. You don't want to wait until the week before the storm is coming to try to figure out everything you need to do. I have pictures here of 2 different types of boxes. One is an ammunition can, and the other ones are Pelican cases. Both of these actually float, and they are watertight, which means no water will get into them. So you want to put your valuables in there. In the law firm, you want to make sure you have your company lease, all your emergency contacts, any documents of importance. If you have client documents that are originals, if you do probate or guardianship and you have original wills, these are documents that should be in a safe deposit box, but if they're not, they need to go with you in these emergency boxes. If you do not have your documents backed up into a cloud, you want to make sure you have a T1 or greater hard drive, an external hard drive that you can load everything. And it might not be the day before the storm, but even a week before would be great for you to have all your backups on hard drives. And there's nothing wrong with redundancy. On the contrary, the county recommends redundancy. So if you have hard copies and you have it on your hard drive, and then on top of that, you have it in the cloud, it's just safer that way to have everything saved up. Pinellas County does have a lot of information, and we'll get into all of their websites later on how to put your documents together in your disaster recovery plan. If you have a small business and you don't know where to start, we will be emailing out a template for your disaster recovery plan, and also we'll discuss Pinellas software that helps you structure your own plan through them. One size does not fit all, which is obvious. You're either a single person with no pets or a family of 4 with 2 cats, a dog, and a parakeet, or you have a very small business, you're a sole practitioner, or you have a large law firm. Everything today goes onto your smartphone, your smartwatch, your tablet. Things to consider when discovering your plan are software, your backups, all your logins, if you have a 1Password, or if you're like me and you still have all your passwords on a paper list. Your actual equipment, are you going to be able to access? And one thing, if you leave documents open on your desktop at work and you go home, you can't work on those documents. So you want to make sure you close all your documents every night, because you don't know when something will happen that night, not just necessarily a hurricane, but a fire, a power outage. You want to be able to get access to your things. And again, we will have links at the end of after the presentation. Equipment and technology. If you have an office with windows, you want to make sure that all your equipment is away from the windows, that you put plastic bags on them, that you unplug everything, that you remove all electrical plugs from the floor. Even if you have a UPS, you want to get it off the floor in case your office floods. Ideally, you want to close as many doors as possible, lower blinds, shades, anything to hold back a possible broken glass and water damage into the office. Home kits, same thing with documents. Anything that is not easily replaceable, your diplomas, your certificates, your marriage, prescriptions, children's records, you want to put those on a USB, in a cloud, or in one of your boxes. Keep in mind that with children, it's also good to have a recent photo of your child in case you get separated. Same thing with pets. Their microchips, a recent photograph of your pet. I recommend that you take your diplomas and scan them. If there is damage and you can't take them with you, at least you have a scan semi-original of the diploma. You want to make sure you have your prescriptions with you. A lot of doctors will give you duplicate prescriptions so you can put in your box and not necessarily file them with the pharmacy. Children's and pets. Children are very, very aware of what's going on, and sometimes it's really great to make them part of the plan. These are actually two of my grandkids, and my oldest, Isabel, loves to be involved and loves to be in the planning decision, and it makes them feel important that they are part of the family. And you want to make sure that they pack their own comfort items, their stuffed animal that they can't sleep without. My little one, he loves blankies, so you have to make sure to have a blanket with you. Their toys, a book, games that they can play by themselves. If you're taking a Game Boy, and I'm dating myself as a Game Boy, whatever the new handheld games are, you want to make sure you have backup and power cords for them. With regards to your pets, you have to have your vaccine records, their microchips if you have any. Keep in mind that you're going to need a crate or a cage, sufficient food for them, their leashes and so forth, because they are not allowed to roam free when you go into a shelter, if that's your plan. Should I stay or should I go? Do you have special food items that you eat? Are you vegan? Some of the shelters will try to accommodate special dietary needs, but they can't accommodate all of them. So you want to bring your food with you. You want to bring your supplies. And as you can see, I have a mask there. Guess what? It's part of the new normal. Your to-go kits must include masks and hand sanitizer. And this is coming directly from Pinellas emergency management coordinators. You want to make sure that if you're picking a shelter, whether it be for your pet or yourself, they are making arrangements for family groups, and they'll have a social distance between the groups. You'll have your own little group of 5, 6, 7 people, and then there's a space, you're 6 feet, and then the next group and so forth. If you decide to go to a family or friend to stay, bring food with you. You're adding extra mouths to that home, and they may not necessarily have enough food to cover the extra people. So be considerate and bring food with you for yourself, for your children, for your pets. bring their bowls, bring their crates, because even though it's a friend's house, you're still gonna need downtime with those animals, and they may have animals of their own there. You wanna make sure you have snacks for everybody available. Pinellas County Ready Pinellas is a great program. You can download it on your phone. It's a free app. You can get emergency notifications from Pinellas. And if, let's say you live in Clearwater, but you work in St. Pete, you can get notifications for both cities on the Ready Pinellas app. So it's great to have. You'll be up to date on evacuations. With COVID, they were posting openings, closings. I don't think we had any curfews. I know Hillsborough had curfews a few times, but all that information would be on the Pinellas Ready Pinellas site. Special needs individuals. County of Pinellas does have a program that you can go on their website and register for special needs. They will arrange transportation. One thing that Pinellas County is requesting is that you do this in advance, not a couple of days before the storm. They will keep your information in the system, and once they're ready to activate and evacuate, they will make arrangements to have you picked up and take you to the appropriate shelter depending your special needs. But again, let's not wait until the last minute to get these things done. CERT, Community Emergency Response Team. This is a volunteer training. It provides community involvement. The closest one in the area is in Lealman, which I am a member of. Their training is free. It covers basic skills to deal with emergency services and disasters. You practice, and working with a team, you will be able to protect yourself and maximize your capability to help the greater number of people after a disaster. Lealman's very active, and they do a lot of community events. They work a lot with Pinellas County whenever the county is putting on Touch a Truck or any of their events. The CERT team members are there to help out. Here's the website I was talking about. This is the Florida Department of Emergency Management. As you can see, the site has three choices: as a family, as a business, or as a special needs individual. As you click through the plan, you will be putting in pertinent information, and at the end, the system creates your emergency plan for you. So it's really great. It's user-friendly, and it's highly recommended that you have a plan, even if it's just a list of where you're going, what you're taking with you. Any plan is better than no plan. And great news, starting tomorrow, there is a disaster preparedness sales holiday, much like the back to school tax-free week. They have a tax-free week for emergency supplies. This includes generators, batteries, flashlights, candles, radios, fuel containers, whether it be for actual gasoline or even the LP containers, reusable ice packs, you know, those plastic ice cubes or those bags that you can freeze and then reuse. Those are all included. There is an entire list on the website. Just keep in mind to keep your receipts, because they're saying that if you try to return any of the items, you may have a hard time proving that you bought it outside of the tax-free week, and you're not going to get the sales tax back for it. Island life. Those of you that live on our barrier areas like Madeira Beach or Treasure Island, if you want to go back home, you're going to need one of these permits from the sheriff's office. This includes Bel Air Beach, Bel Air Shore, Clearwater, Indian Rocks, Indian Shore, Madeira Beach, North Reddington Beach, Reddington Shores, St. Pete Beach, Tierra Verde, and Treasure Island. Much like Monroe County shut down the chain of islands during COVID, and you had to prove that you actually had a right to be there, whether to work or to live there, this is pretty much the same thing, but this will make life easier. Again, don't wait until the last minute. If you need to get an access permit to get back home, now's the time to do it. It's a placard that goes on your car. Put it in your glove compartment. Just make sure you Put it in the glove compartment of the car that you're using to evacuate. We will be providing a document checklist of documents that you should have saved, evacuation checklist, pet evacuations checklist, and a survival kit to stay at home. These are all Pinellas County documents. They're easy to use, and it helps you check off everything that you do or do not have that you're going to need to bring with you. These are the links, and again, the PowerPoint will be provided to the registered participants after the presentation. Pinellas County Emergency Management, Pinellas, Sealman, and the Get a Plan website. And because hurricanes can be fun, how to make a hurricane. This is an actual hurricane recipe. It is not the one from Pat O'Brien's in New Orleans, because theirs requires their proprietary mix. So it's a very generic mix here. And that's about it. If you have any questions, you can send us an email and I'll be happy to respond. If you need any additional information beyond the documents that we're providing after the presentation, please let us know and we'll be happy to guide you through it. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be here. And again, this is Grace with Fletcher, Fischer, Pollack.
Grace, can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
I wondered what you'd heard about what the agencies were doing with regard to social distancing in shelters. Like, how are they preparing shelters, or are they thinking of using hotels, or what are they doing in case there's a big one that comes? What are they thinking of doing?
They are preferring that you find your own place to go, like family or friends.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to go to a shelter, which they are going to be opening shelters, social distancing will be mandated, but you will be required to bring your own hand sanitizer and mask, and you will have to have them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be following the protocol that we have, you know, the social distancing. They are going to, family groups, they'll keep close together, but separate from the next family group.
I would think that if you're evacuating at all, whether it's to your friend's house or to a shelter, or you're going out of state or finding a hotel or someplace, you would want to keep in mind that you probably don't want to maybe go to restaurants or go to the stores much to get supplies for yourself. So, you know, to limit that, to bring as much as you can to ensure that you have supplies.
Yes.
Yourself while you're traveling, even if you're
Absolutely.
out of an area that's with the hurricane.
And be considerate of family, because just because you're going to your mom's brother's or sister's home, that doesn't mean that they have a stockpile of food to feed themselves, plus 3, 4, 5, 6 of you, plus your pets. You know, keep that in mind. And if you're going to a friend's house, just look at it as a standard evacuation, and you're going to need your snacks, your foods. You know, your kids are picky and they only eat goldfish. You know, bring goldfish with you. Don't assume your family member's going to have those available. And also, if you're on a special diet, those that are vegan or vegetarian, you know, bring stuff with you that you can snack on just in case they don't have a vegan menu. They may have a vegetarian. Vegan in an emergency, I doubt they're going to go that far.
Great.
Any other questions? Okay, well, stay safe, everybody. And again, don't wait to the last minute to get all your plans done.